I wanted to chat with you today about top of funnel campaigns and specifically why retail brands need to start investing in top of funnel campaigns.
What we see quite often with brands that we start working with is they get quite focus on really short-term revenue. And while that's really important, just to make sure that we are hitting the bottom line, what we'll see is that if we start to move away, or if we only stay focused on those low funnel campaigns, so thinking about ones that drive that, last click GA ROAS or in-platform ROAS, is while in the short term we might not see any negative effects from that, in the long term, what we'll start to see is our growth, our annual growth, even will start to flatline a little bit. And a lot of this has to do with the demand that we're starting to gather starts to end up drying up a little bit. We start to hit the same client or the same people over and over again, and we're not really creating that additional market for us to go after. So if brands are investing more in the top of funnel, we can make sure that our marketing efficiency ratio stays healthy, meaning that the overall marketing spend to overall business revenue stays strong, and we're still creating additional demand that can be tapped into from our lower funnel. So while when brands are maybe starting out just to get their feet wet in the e-commerce space, maybe the lower funnel campaigns are a good starting point. But after we start to really saturate that market and have hit the same people over and over again, we need to make sure that we're broadening up our pools a little bit and using things like CTV, YouTube, even demand gen, things like that can really help to broaden those pools and making sure that we're setting ourselves up for success, not only in the short term, but also in the long term.
Do you find that in different economic circumstances, top of funnel tends to become something that goes in the chopping block? Like, tell me why brands aren't investing more in top of funnel right now.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's an interesting marketing question in general. Quite often, marketing as a whole tends to go pretty quickly in tough economic environments. And within marketing, top of funnel is also usually the first to go within the realm because it doesn't have that immediate last click revenue response that has brands really confident in the value that it's driving. And while it's understandable to have that reaction, especially when maybe economic situations aren't ideal, it's still important to make sure that we are still spending ideally that same 20% or more spend share into the top of funnel, just to make sure that we're not, like I said before, like having our user pools dry up and not being able to hit new people. And like, while, yeah, in the short term, we might see like a slight increase in efficiency in terms of like ROAS or MER. In the long term, if we stop investing into these channels, especially when times get tough, it's just going to lead to even further long-term issues and long-term problems. Some say that it's, in economic hardship times that it's even more important to spend to marketing. We don't need to go necessarily down that road today, but definitely not one that we want to like move away from when there's any sort of economic uncertainty in the forecast.
Okay, amazing. I think those are all of my questions without diving too deep into the whole keyword conversation, but thank you for chatting with me.